Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the all-new Toyota Supra. Before we get into the video though, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with the Supra. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. And by the way, the Supra is currently available for sale. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Mitch. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-six. It goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 382 horsepower and then 368 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 23 around town and then 31 on the highway. And I'd have to say that Toyota did a pretty good job with the overall display of this powertrain, especially with those red accents right there. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention that if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post videos every single day. So starting with the hood, it is absolutely enormous, and this cannot be understated. Like, this is one of the biggest hoods in the car industry. And of course, we have the famous not so real vents there. And then coming down below, you guys can see here with the daytime running lights, and then we do have LED headlamps as well. We've got parking sensors integrated in the front end, then you got the Toyota logo front and center, and then it's actually pretty aggressive here at the bottom with the front splitter. Definitely a unique appearance. And then of course we got to go over more of the fake venting that is throughout the front end. I mean, some of it's functional obviously, but just a thing on the Supra. And then when you put it all together, as busy as the front end is on the Supra, I think it looks really good. Now, going over the tire and wheel setup is two 55-35-19 in the front and then two 75-35-19 in the rear. And I definitely do love these new wheels with the Supra. The darker design, I feel like, just fits the overall car a lot better compared to like the silvery wheels that we had prior. Now, with the front, we have 4-piston Brembo brakes, and obviously with the red caliper, which looks cool. In the back, it's a single-piston cast iron brake, if you guys are wondering. And then another cool party trick with the new Supra is it does have adaptive suspension. Some other side accent pieces, we've got the carbon fiber mirrors here, and then, of course, we've got more fake venting. But you know what? It looks cool. And then a very, very large gas cap. And then when you put it all together, this is definitely a really good-looking car. Again, I love the ground effects there on the front, and then on the side, it kind of like all ties in. And then you can see a little bit there with the rear. But again, these darker wheels really work. Now, here's our key fob for the Supra. You got the Toyota logo there on the back. Notice the red accent there in the center. We have our unlock function or lock function, and then the opening here for the rear hatch. When it comes to storage space in the rear of the Supra, it's actually pretty dang practical. You've got this cargo cover here at the top, and overall storage space is actually pretty solid. I obviously lived with one of these for a while, and it worked out pretty well. And you can see it's actually connected there to the passenger cabin. When you're actually done with the hatch, they have these nice handles here that you can grab to kind of slowly let it down, which is nice. Now, one of my favorite design details with the new Supra is actually the tail lights, and makes a super loud sound when you unlock it. But yeah, look at the design there. And of course, we got more fake venting right next to that. Crazy diffuser here at the bottom with our oversized exhaust tips, and then you got the reverse light there in the center, and then notice with the Supra badge right there, and then you got our GR badge down below. And then when you put it all together, this car looks really good from every single angle. Even though, you know, I'm usually not a fan of like the whole ducktail appearance on the back end, I think it actually works pretty well here with the Supra. We do have keyless entry here on the door if you guys are wondering. Taking a look at the door panel itself, we've got really nice leather trim here with the stitching that goes throughout. And yes, we got our BMW door handle right there. Window controls, you got the adjustments for the mirrors. The mirrors do power fold in, and they have blind spot monitoring. For those of you that are curious, our payload capacity is 542 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is 4,001 pounds. So that means this thing weighs just under 3,500 pounds. And then taking a look at the seats, you guys can see really nice leather yet again. We've got the stitching all throughout and pretty aggressive bolstering here on the seats. A bunch of power adjustments down the side, memory seat functionality, and notice it says Toyota Supra. Really nice pedal layout. Obviously, this one being the automatic just has two. You can now get a manual for the 23 model year, but those are going to be pretty rare. We've got all of our light controls here off to the side, and then I love the look of the vent up above, and then nice stitching on the dash. And this is normally where I do the transition clip where I like pull the door closed, and then I push the stop-start button, and then I show you guys the gauge cluster right there. But since we're inside, it'll be better if I have the door open for lighting. Starting with the steering wheel here with the Supra, really nice leather trim all around. We've got contrasted stitching there on the center portion. We do have paddle shifters here on the back, and then you guys can see we've got stuff like adaptive cruise control. We've got our phone controls, controls for the radio in general, and behind the steering wheel you got your turn signal stalk and then your windshield wiper stalk. Yeah, here's our center gauge cluster with the Supra. Big fan of it. I love how like it shows you little lines there for the fuel. I remember that again as an owner, that was always fun. But the cool party trick is when you change the drive modes, you guys can see doing the sport mode, pulls up with those lines, which is definitely fun. And there's the center. Now, as for the infotainment screen itself, this is actually one of BMW's older units, but it's actually a really solid screen. It's pretty easy to use. Response time of the screen's great. You've got that home screen button, which will always take you back. And then, of course, we have the radio presets where you can hover your fingers over and it actually pops up there on the screen in normal BMW fashion. And then got a little volume control. We do have dual zone climate controls here in the Supra, heated seats here for the front passengers as well. Now, it's kind of hard to see because this isn't like a little cave in the Supra is what I'll call it, but we have a wireless phone charging pad. There's a USB port right next to it, and there's like a little cover over the wireless phone charging pad so your phone stays in place. We've got the shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. Again, another thing straight out of a BMW. You basically just pull that and then forward or backwards with it and then put the P in for park. Pretty easy shifter to use. We've got our analog control here for the infotainment system itself. So if you don't use the touchscreen functionality, you can use the dial and that'll go through the screen. Now we've got a drive mode select in this area, but then also we have some more controls like your stability control. I love how the sport mode is just massive. And then stuff for your parking sensors, stability control, and then your safety systems. And then you've got your parking brake. And notice all the carbon fiber all around that. And then we actually don't have a center console. We just have this little like interesting cup holder situation with some nice leather trim on it. And then there's a little storage pocket behind it. And then we have what I dub a mega vent. You guys can see it goes all the way across. You got some stitching there on the top, and then you got some nice trim down below, and you know, glove box lined with felt. Now, I didn't show you guys in the walk around portion. I'll show you when I show the window sticker, but this has that double bubble design at the top of the roof, so it actually helps out with headroom quite a bit, and then just black headliner. Now here's our window sticker for this 23 Supra. First off, you guys can see all of the standard equipment, and for those of you wondering on some of the performance stuff, just freeze the frame and you can read through all of that. I went through most of it in the walk around, but just in case you guys want to see. But everything else that's standard. Now there are some options. No space, MSRP 55,650, but there's stuff like the radar, cruise control, and everything. Carbon fiber mirror caps, almost $1,000. I mean, those are cool, but I don't know if those are $1,000 cool. Anyways, total MSRP $58,940, and then here's that roof. So you got like the double bubble, and then with that being said, well, I actually have to place this back where it was earlier and we'll sum things up. Well, I guess this is where you guys will get the whole startup. Gotta love that. And you can actually hear a difference when you like put it in the sport mode. It gets like a little bit louder with the exhaust, but we can also see the backup camera now as I'm getting this into its place. And of course my camera doesn't want to focus on the backup camera image. That's just how it goes. But yeah, look at this gauge cluster. It's so fun. And you know, like the view from the cockpit here with everything on, it's pretty cool. And notice the parking sensors all around. That was something that I did like about the Supra, is it kind of fills in the gaps everywhere with the parking sensors there. So it actually makes it so it's pretty easy to park the car even in tight situations like this. Maybe one day my camera will decide that it wants to work properly. Let's try not to run into these people though. So to sum things up with the Supra, as someone who owned a 21 for like 6-ish months, I have a car problem. I buy cars and sell them all the time. But anyways, here's the deal. I think the Supra so far has aged very well because, again, it came out in the 2020 model year, and every time I see one on the road, I'm still like, wow, is that a Supra? I mean, I know I had to make the joke, but anyways, it seriously is a really cool looking car on the outside, and the interior is actually really nice considering the price point. The one thing that I will say though is that BMW has moved on since they did that whole Supra collaboration thing, and so like the new BMW infotainment system and the new BMW interiors definitely feel quite a bit nicer than what you have in the Supra. So it'd be cool to see like an update to the Supra interior with BMW's new interior styling and all that. But aside from that, super fun car to daily drive. Like it's super fast, I guess we got to say that. Really comfortable as well. Like I put tons of miles on the Supra when I had it. I think that over the course of the 6 months, and again, you got to remember, I always have like 2 or 3 cars at once. I think I put like 4,000 plus miles on the car, and so So it obviously was a great daily driver, and the person that I sold it to actually put like over 30,000 miles on the car and still running. So I guess that's a testament to the reliability of the Supra as well. And you know, it's kind of cliche to say, but it seriously is like the best driving BMW. It just doesn't happen to have a BMW badge on it. And so if you want a super fun, lightweight sports car, the Supra provides that. And if you guys are wanting automatic versus manual, I still haven't driven the manual quite yet. Once I'm able to drive one, then I'll have a video on that. But what I can say is with the BMWs that I have driven with the manual transmission, their manual transmission is good, and it would be a ton of fun to have. But with how much power the Supra has, I think that the automatic probably will be the route to go, especially with how good that automatic is. It's super quick and super snappy with the shifts, especially if you're going to daily drive it too. I think that the automatic will be the route to go, but I'm sure the manual, you know, being a manual will be a little bit more fun, just slower, right? That's just how things work. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the new Supra, if you would go automatic or manual. And then again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller, Twitter here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with that Supra. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Mitch if you have any questions. I'll see ya.